Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you. Thank you so
Good,
much for
good.
asking.
Nice and early over there, isn't it? What time is it?
7:30
7:30.
in the morning.
Yeah,
3:30 over at on your end, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Cool. Well, before we get started, I do want to say thank you because you are my first international guest. So excited to do this today.
that's really strange because I was going to ask you that because I was chatting to Chris, who you did a pod with from A Slice of NJ, and he actually said to me, he says, "Oh, I wonder if you're the first overseas guest." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask him when I'm on." So yeah, oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
There it is. I just wanted to clarify it. And in case there is some sort of audio mix up with the distance, I don't know how that works, but just wanted to put that
Yeah,
out there. But I think
yeah,
we got this. We got this.
yeah. We got it.
First question for you. What's good dough?
Great question. Obviously, the only question I knew you were going to ask me, but I think it's a really good question because there's just no right or wrong answer, and you could ask thousands of different people, and you could get thousands of different answers. But for me, I'd say I'm very much on the Neapolitan side of dough. I mean, I love all types of pizza, but Neapolitan is definitely the one that I enjoy the most. But as far as the dough, I'd say good dough is any dough that you can tell has had love put into it and real desire and just I think you can just tell. I mean, no disrespect to the big chains like Domino's and Papa John's and Pizza Hut. They make good pizza, but I think you can tell straight away the difference in the dough. I mean, everyone who's tried my pizzas over the past 10 months that's their first comment is how good the dough is compared to the big chains. So I just think any dough where you know the person's put a lot of time and effort into it. So I'd say that's good dough to me.
Great answer. Love goes a long way. It shows when you put that in the process.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
one thing I wanted to highlight that you said is that you started making this 10 months ago.
Yeah,
And I think what's great about you is that you not only put love in it, but you're able to share that love with others through Instagram.
yeah.
Why and how did you get started in this pizza making world?
Um, well, it's like you say, it was only less than a year ago. So it was. I think the only time I've ever made a pizza by hand before I started with this uni oven is just with my daughter. Probably 18 months ago, we just did one in the home oven. We just made a bit of dough. Excuse me, just for something fun to do, really. But so yeah, it all started in April last year. Um, it's my birthday at the end of March, and one day I arrived home from work, and there was a big box in my living room with like a note on it, and it just said "Happy Birthday," and it was from my father-in-law. And I looked at it, and it said "Uni" on it, and I was like, I've no idea what this is. Like, so I'd never heard of them before. So then I had a good look in the box. And I was like, oh, it's a pizza oven. Like, oh wow, this is cool. And my wife and my daughter were actually outside at the time, and so I went straight out to them, and they were like, "Do you like it? Do you like it?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, this is cool. Like, look, can't wait to get it open." And then I just started doing loads of research into it, getting on YouTube, getting on the uni website, and having a look into it. And then it was funny at the time because because it was right at the beginning of the first lockdown through COVID. Um, Things were really difficult to get hold of. So like flour was just like gold dust. Like you couldn't get it anywhere over here. It was terrible. Even just like plain flour, you just bare in the supermarket.
Right.
So it was actually a couple of weeks, two weeks maybe, before I could actually get the ingredients to actually get started. So, um, but yeah, so that's where it all began really. And then I made a couple of pizzas the first time, and I remember us eating them, and it was like, wow, these are so nice. Like these are so nice. And I remember I joined the Uni have got a Facebook group, and I joined that to just have a look through to get some bit of information and stuff. And I remember posting a couple of photos on into that group of the first pizzas that I made, and I just got loads and loads of comments like saying, "Wow, these are amazing," and I was like, I was blown away. Really, I mean, I was just like, God, this is crazy. Like, and then it was my wife actually who said to me, she said, "You should make an Instagram page. Like, these are," she says, "I think you'll do pretty well at it." Like, and I was like, I've never been on Instagram in my life. Like, I've never actually been on it. And I was a bit like, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I will or not. And then another few weeks later, like I started thinking about it. And I thought, actually, I think I'd quite like to do that. Like, so she's got her own Instagram page. So she was looking at other people's profiles to see what kind of stuff is on there. And then that was it really. I went in for it, and well, the rest is that's where we are now. I mean, 10 months down the line, it's crazy, crazy.
Yeah. You brought me back to many points in my life. I mean, 10 months ago, or however long March was. Yeah, 10 months ago. I remember how difficult it was to get flour.
Yeah,
And while that seems so long ago in retrospect, it's really not really a long amount of time. It's relatively
no,
short.
not at all, not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't just flour; it was just everything. Like because the uni oven that I got was wood, like using wood and charcoal. Even getting hold of wood and charcoal, it was just because it was nice weather. We had some really good weather over here in the UK, March, April time. So everyone was, because they were at home all the time because of lockdown, they were just firing barbecues out every day, and so there was no charcoal, no wood. It was a nightmare. And there's me with a pizza oven sat there waiting to be used, and I couldn't use it.
What a tease.
Yeah, it was. It was.
One thing I want to point out in your story is how, like, essentially how humbling it is, like your beginnings, because I'm going to speak for many people in that we are, super impressed with the growth that you've gotten on this page. But in actuality, you had no prior experience to pizza. You just started and you did it out of the thought that, this might be fun.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
translate and that with the love that you put into pizza making just kind of blew up. And so I'm excited to
yeah,
learn more about that.
yeah. I mean, like you say, it just blew up straight away. And I mean, I am the type of person where when I start doing something, I do I do like to get really involved in it and
Oh, it shows.
do a lot of research into the best ways to do it. And I mean, I spent hours on YouTube just blasting down loads of videos, just and all the uni videos on their website, just looking at the different things you can do. And yeah, it just kind of like it just took off really. I mean, the first few weeks were just quite mind blowing, really. Like, just or just all the positivity. I mean, it was great. I mean, the one thing I'll say is the community, the pizza community. Like, it's such a great group of people. Like, that there's so many helpful people out there that are willing to help you no matter what it is you need help with. And I'm always like contacting people to get some help and tips. I mean, I'm no by no means a an expert. I mean, there's still so much to learn. I mean, you look at some of the people they've been doing making pizzas their whole life, like 20, 30 years, and but yeah, it was just really really good. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it to build a following, it does take a lot of time and effort and hard work, and I think people underestimate that. I think. I mean, I've not got endless amounts of time on my hands to do it. I mean, I'm married with a 9 year old daughter, I've got a full time job that even throughout this 10 months, I've not been at home. I've actually been one of the lucky people that's been carrying on going to work. Um, but yeah, you just have to. I just got stuck into it really. Just went in full steam ahead and just started. And I think the big thing is to just to engage with people. I mean, I think a lot of people get in touch with me asking me how they can build their following, and the biggest thing I always say to people is just get stuck in and just start getting in touch with people and engaging with people. And although they don't know you as a person, because I mean, it's just they don't. If you don't make videos or anything, they don't see you. They don't know you. But I think they can tell what type of person you are from your engagement levels. You start to see a transformation really after a while where you start becoming someone that starts helping others.
Oh, for sure.
I did notice a point after a certain time where I felt like, oh, I feel like I can now start passing on what I know, and I love that side of it. I mean, again, it can be very time consuming. Like, get loads and loads of messages asking for advice, but I get a lot of satisfaction out of helping other people, and because people are so thankful, like that you've just taken a bit of time out of your day to help them. I mean, it's great. It's very rewarding.
Yes. It's intrinsically motivating, even if there was no likes associated with it, no monetary compensation. The fact that we're building community, the fact that we're helping each other level up our pizza game, it's great to
Mm.
watch.
Yeah,
I see. Well, first, I'd like to comment on what you said. There are pizza makers who have 20, 30 years of experience, them helping you out and you extending the hand. That's perfect. Because you'd be selfish to not, right? And
yeah,
I think
yeah,
as someone with a following, you've kind of set yourself up to be that go-to person. And I'm glad that you take on that responsibility and do it justice, because if you just kept all that knowledge with you, it would kind of suck.
yeah. And I think it'd be really easy to not respond to all the messages, and but then I think, well, what's the point? What's the point in doing this if I'm just going to take all that like positive feedback and stuff? But it's just a way of giving back, really. I think, and it's like you can get hundreds and hundreds of comments on each post, and I make sure I've always like made sure that every single comment on any post I've ever done, I will I will respond to it, even if it's just a one word thank you. Like, I think it goes a long way because it just shows that you've read it and you appreciate it, and I think that's where the engagement comes in, where people then start thinking, oh, that you don't need to do that. I mean, it's something personally that I feel really strongly about, and I think it doesn't take long to blast down some comments and just respond to them. But it's something that I've always done, and I think that helps with your following as well. I think people can see you're an engaging type of person.
Yeah. I have an upcoming show with another content marketing specialist. Her name is Elaine. She actually does this as a full-time living, and prior to her starting a pizza page, she's always kind of been into social. And and I also talk with Chris, and we talk about just replying to comments.
Yeah,
It's so important because it's a thank you, like you said.
yeah,
It's a way of engagement, and all these little bits not only help with the Instagram algorithm, but it helps make this community stronger because it shows other people that if Scott, who has 13,000 followers and hundreds, maybe even thousands of comments to reply to, can take the time to help another person, I, with 100, 200, 800, 1,000, a fractional amount of followers compared to Scott, can also take the time to help others and really push up everyone else's pizza making abilities.
yeah. And I think it's just you've kind of just got to make time, really. I mean, I have kind of like set periods because at the minute every day is the same because of what's happening in the world. It's every day is the same, really. And so I get up early in the morning, I go to work, I go and pick my daughter up from school after work, come home, have a bit of time with my daughter, then make the evening meal, and then my wife gets home from work, and then we sit down for a bit of time together as a family, and then the daughter will go to bed. So you have to pick. I just pick small sections in my day, like on my lunch break at work. I'll spend half an hour just replying to comments, and then if my if my wife is putting my daughter to bed one evening, I'll take that time to just fire through a load of messages and stuff. And I could quite easily just sit down and put the TV on at that point. But they're the times that I need to give to running the page. Really, I mean, you've got to make time.
Yeah, that's one. I think that's probably one of the smarter ways of doing things. I like to call it batching of my time because it can be really distracting when you have a million different things going on at once. You're replying to emails, then you're going to Instagram, then you're doing your work, and then back to emails, then to Instagram, then work. And that all becomes very taxing on the mind
Mm.
to have to be able to change different kind of modes in your head. So I love that you take a time, get them all done, and then you move on to the next thing, and you don't look at your Instagram messages and comments until another time in the day. And that really helps with, I think, longevity, um, just being able to continue doing this long term, because I can only imagine how much effort it takes, but it would take much less effort if you were to batch things the way you're doing. So great
Yeah,
job on that.
it definitely helps. It's definitely a good way to do it, and it allows you to, like I say, there's times in the day like when me and my daughter get home from picking her up from school. That period of the day, I want to be with her. I don't want to be replying to loads of messages. I need so it's. I think it's a good way. It's a good way to do it, and it works well for me at the minute. I mean, who knows? I mean, like I say, at the minute, every day's the same. I mean, when things are back to normal, I may need to do some adjustments into times of the day or whatever. But at the minute, it works really well.
Yeah. It's always good to, keep things steady and going. And reflect back when necessary, when you have to change your processes. I like systematizing my stuff. Like, I edit a certain way. I do my intros and outros a certain way, and I incorporate them at different times of the day. But the minute it doesn't work, I want to be open to changing that.
Yeah,
And I think that's so important, to be flexible.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a period of the day when I like to put my posts up because that's the time of the day I feel is the most successful time. I mean, but like you say, things change. There could there could come a time where posting it earlier on in the day might be a better time, and I think it's just like you say, being open and flexible to change because things don't stand still. I mean, even like talking about things not standing still and changing. Yes, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. I did my first proper reels. I mean, where did they come from? Like, that's just like, and I'll be honest, I found it really difficult. It took me ages to put these different clips together. I mean, I just do it all on my phone. I'm not into video editing but it, but it's something that I feel like I've got to learn and be able to do because it's something that has come. I mean, that's come in the last few months, really. I mean, and that seems to be the in thing now, the reels, and I think it's you've got to be open to change the way you post, and I think there'll always be the standard picture posts, but these new things that come along, I think it's good to be open to trying new things, and it was fun. It was fun to. It was hard work, but it was fun to do.
Yeah, you couldn't have explained it better. You have to have an understanding of, kind of like what Giovanni from my interview said. Like, you have to have what works, the tradition, and then you have to continue to innovate and use the new
Yeah,
trends
yeah,
and
definitely.
incorporate those,
Yeah.
because you have to be strong on both. What did you learn from making reels? Because I know you're the person to ask, because you're the type of person to do a bunch of research before you even post. Like, what are some?
Yeah, I mean, I started looking. I mean, when they first, I think, because my wife runs her account, and it was her that first told me about reels. I think she says, "Oh, you, you should start looking into these reels, and because they're becoming quite popular." So I just started having a look through, and it's particularly like food ones. Um, and I kept seeing the ones where people were like clicking the fingers, and it would instantly change, and I was like, "Whoa, how do you do this?" Like, so yeah, and I just started looking into it, and like I say, my wife did help me understand the process of it because she did one for she runs an account for our dog on Instagram. So I remember her doing her first one on his account, and I was like, "Oh, that was really good. That's the type of thing I want to start doing." So yeah, again, it was just looking at other examples and see the different ways you can transition from each short video because obviously it's a series of really short videos all connected together. Whether or not you're clicking your fingers to transition or zooming in and zooming out, it was in the end on the one I did the other day, just because it was my first one, I didn't overcomplicate it. I thought I'll stick to the basics and just put these series of clips together um, with no fancy transition or anything. I think that'll come in time, hopefully. Um, but yeah, it was fun. It was good. I mean, and it went down really well. I in fact, I just had a notification pop up on my phone this afternoon saying, "Oh, you've you've just gone past 10,000 views on the reels." So I was like, "Oh, well, I'm assuming
Congratulations.
that's a good
I
that's a good number."
think it's a good number.
But yeah,
One thing I like what you said was, you don't have to overcomplicate things. And sometimes you just need that momentum to get started. Post something simple. I kind of want to rewind real quickly on something you said earlier. You're just editing on your phone when you
Yeah,
did the reels. Is that correct?
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Is it safe to assume that you do most of your content on your phones, or do you?
yeah. So my all my photo, well, yeah, not 99% of my photos are actually done on my wife's phone. Um, her her phone is really, the camera on it's brilliant. Like it's really good.
What is it?
Um, I think it's the Google Pixel 2. I think so. It's not the late. It's not the latest one. But yeah, it's a really good. It's a really good camera, and my wife's really keen on photography, so she likes to get involved and take a lot of the photos and stuff. Um,
Is she helping you with editing?
yeah, but it's all, like I say, it's all done on the phone. We don't. There's no. I think she does it on the Google Photos app, just
Wow.
the normal app. But yeah, there's no fancy software behind it or anything. I mean, she has got a good eye for a photo, and it does help because having that means it allows me to focus more on the making side of it.
Oh
And
yeah.
so we have a bit of a conveyor belt type scenario going on pizza day. I'm throwing them on the table, and she's photographing them. Then they go in the oven just to keep warm. And then once we're done, then we all sit. My daughter's inside looking after the dog while while I'm outside doing the pizzas, and it works really well. And it just gets everyone involved. It's a good way of doing it, I think. I mean, I think to like I say, I like to focus on making the dough and making the pizza, and obviously I run the account and it's everything, but just having that helping hand just with that side of it is really good.
Oh yeah. I agree. With everything going on in your life, in everyone's lives, it's good to really delegate certain tasks so that it's a group effort pushing you to where you want to go.
Yeah,
Great. Let's talk about your pizza, man. Um,
yeah,
I love seeing how you make pizza, the different types of experiments you're trying. And I wanted to just say I was super impressed. And this kind of goes back to your method of researching. I was really impressed with your first Detroit style pizza that you posted. I
mm,
was just amazed when you posted that thing, and I was like, "This is your first one?" And I
yeah,
and I kind of thought, I was like, "No, there's no way." But just getting to know you now and the type of person you are, I 100% believe that that was your
yeah,
first
yeah.
Detroit style pizza.
I love making the different styles as well, and the Detroit and Sicilian. I think they're a bit more involved, just because of the process of the dough, like putting it in the pan. Like normally, I would just bulk ferment the dough and then boil it up a few hours before I'd stretch and make the pizza. But with the Detroit and Sicilian, there's like another step involved in it, in getting it into that sheet pan, getting it oiled, and gradually pressing it out into the corners over the course of a few hours. And it was quite intense. I mean, it was, but again, I mean, it was a lot of work involved. But when I saw the outcome of it and tasted it, it was like, yeah, I mean, it was really nice. And I mean, like I said, like you say, I did a lot of research into it, and I've got the, it was the, I've got the pizza Bible, which I got last year. I mean, I forgot, I've lost count of the amount of times I've read through that. I mean, it's amazing. And I remember I got to the page where he did his Detroit Red Top, and the photo on that page is just, I was like, wow. I'm making that. Like that's and and yeah, and then I just, like I say, I just reached out to other people that I know were good at it. And I know you had Eddie on here a while ago. He's someone who's super helpful, and if ever I'm making a Sicilian in particular, he's the one I go to for advice, and he's super helpful. And I mean, you've only got to look at his pizzas. I mean, they're incredible. Like he's someone. The Sicilian side of it is someone I really look up to. I mean, even his photography style. I love how he photographs them. It's not just your standard. Well, there it is. It's he's put time and effort into thinking of the best way to make that look the best. Like, and I think that's really good. But yeah, going back to, I digress. But going back to that, I just reached out to a lot of people and on how, because it's just like something simple, like how do you get it to stay in the corners of the pan? I mean, that sounds really simple, but it's not. Like it, you have to gradually move the dough into the corners. And I remember picking up this tip from someone where once you've got it into the corners, you actually hook it. You pick it up and hook it around the corners of the pan and leave it for like 2 minutes. And then when you take it off, and it will just relax and fall right in, and you get that crisp corner, which you obviously want in a Detroit style. Um, and that was just through reaching out to people and saying, "Look, how do you do this?" And reading books and watching videos. And but then, yeah, I mean that. I remember when. I mean, it's always an amazing moment when you take that pizza out the oven and you know straight away whether it's a good one. And that feeling that you get when it is a good one, I mean, it's great. I mean, I love it. I mean, and I remember that Detroit red top that you mentioned, and when I took that out of the pan and laid it on the display board, I was just like, yeah, I'm pleased with that.
uh, if you're not watching this on video, you have to, because that was the selling point of like pizza makers, long for that moment, or like, heck yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
and it was the particularly with the Detroit style. That's another step in the process of actually getting it out of the pan with the cheese wall, the frico still intact.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
that is a job in itself. I mean, I remember going round it with a little spatula, like prizing it, prizing it away millimeter by millimeter, and then you get to I got to the corner, I was like, oh, what do I do now? Like, and I was like, but but again, that took like just taking your time with it and making sure you're really delicate and careful, and then the end result when you see it there, and it just that makes it all worthwhile.
You couldn't have explained it better. You are patient, because I see firsthand the struggle of getting that corner, and just the way you're describing that and taking it out. And you're a patient person, and you're a craftsman. I mean, you're really, this is a work of art for you. And I'm so glad to just hear it directly from you on how invested you are in making a beautiful looking pizza and a tasty pizza. So I just want to applaud
Yeah,
you for that.
I mean, I do I do sometimes think I'm a bit too much of a like a perfectionist when it comes to toppings. I mean, I'm all about symmetry, and I need it to look neat. I mean, anyone can. just throw toppings on, and you know what? I mean, that's not me saying my way is the right way. I mean, I look at some pizzas that aren't symmetrical and are randomly topped, and they still look amazing because everyone has their own style and way of doing it. But mine, I think mine is driven through my personality. I mean, I'm quite a neat, tidy person, like in my everyday life, and so when I'm topping a pizza, I'm doing it with quite a lot of precision and getting them even down to the dollops of cheese. Like I like them equally spaced, and I think it. I suppose it is like it's a canvas, isn't it? It's a blank canvas, and you're putting your style and personality on that pizza, and I think they very much show my personality because that's just the way I am. I mean, I hate mess and clutter, and that's just me as a person. But so when I'm topping, it's like if my pizza doesn't come out round and circular, I'm like, ah, like it's gone oval on the launch. It's gone into an oval, and it's like, but that's just me. That's just me. And
Yeah, they're still edible, right?
oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. No matter how they look, they still taste great.
I'm
Like
sure. But you want to make a work of art that is authentic to who you are.
yeah,
And I love how you didn't, I love how you prefaced it with, that's the way you do it, right? And I just couldn't stop thinking about other Instagram accounts who do big pizzas with lots of sauce and lots of things going on. And as you were explaining that, you're like, that looks good too, but this
mm,
is the way I present it.
yeah,
This is my truth. And I think that being authentic with your pizza, with your Instagram, with everything you do in your life, knowing yourself is super important. And it works to your favor because now, you know, you are known to have that clean, crisp looking photos. And it's not anything extra to you. It's just a representation of who you are.
yeah. And I think it's good as well to have a unique, not unique, unique's probably the wrong word, but a style that is instantly recognizable to you. So someone can see a photo and look at it, and without knowing it was made by me, I feel like they could possibly look at it and realize that. Like, I think having your own style and how things look, I think it's a good way and a good part of running a successful account as well. It's having your own style, like not just going along with whatever anyone else does. It's picking a style and also a style of photography. So it, I mean, you look at my grid on my account; they're all in the same style. They'll probably all have the same kind of backdrop, and that's intentional. That's because I want that to be like quite well known that that's my style and how I make pizza. And I think it's quite important to do that.
Yeah, it's your brand.
Yeah, yeah, in yeah, it is. That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in life, but yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, somebody could easily, at least if you showed me 10 different pizza photos and yours was in there, I would definitely be able to recognize it.
I think a lot of people would that follow me like on
Yeah.
Instagram. I think that I'd like. Well, I would like to think that.
Yeah. I mean, I never really, obviously, I never gave, two thoughts about that, but you were very intentional on the way you do it. And It's, wow, that is such a gem of information, and I hope to be able to use that knowledge to transform my Instagram account. And obviously, in a way that's authentic to me. I'm not going to copy your backdrop. I'm not going to copy your pizza paddle, but I definitely am going to put more thought into how I do things
Yeah,
because it is a representation of me. And if I'm a messy person, then that should be fine. But as long as I portrayed in a consistent way that is true to me, then that's 100% okay.
yeah. And like you say, whether you're messy, neat, tidy, whatever, anything goes. And I think the key word in that is just be consistent, and then you'll soon start getting this, like you say, a brand. Yeah, it is like a brand, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it really is. I would have to say that your brand is, in terms of the product, the bread and butter, is Neapolitan pizza, and we
Yeah,
would do a disservice to not talk about that. I think, is it just because you had the uni and that's what it's known for to make Neapolitan pizzas? Is that why you revolve towards that style more?
I
What
think it's
is it?
definitely part of it. Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, I don't get. I've always liked eating pizza, like ever since I was young. But I'm not going to say that I've been obsessed with eating pizza. Like, but if I was to go to a restaurant, that would be the style that I would choose. I mean, we're not over here. We're not blessed with a lot of pizzerias like you are in America. I mean, they're very few and far between over here. It's all about the big chains over here, like Domino's, and it is getting better, but we're still a long way behind. But yeah, definitely, the uni has got one of the main reasons why I've gone down that route of pizza style. But I love the crust of a Neapolitan. That's something I've always liked, crust on pizzas. And I'm not going to say the bigger the better. I mean, there's definitely a fine line between it being too big. Um, but I definitely prefer that light, airy crust that you get on a Neapolitan compared to the smaller, more dense, say on a New York style.
Yeah, it's interesting that you have that perfect crust idea. You don't like Canotto style? Have you tried that before?
What style was that? Sorry.
Canotto, I think it's pronounced.
No, I've not tried it. I've seen. I'm interested in that because they have got the bigger crusts, haven't they? But no, I've not actually tried that myself. No, but that definitely, I'd like to give it a go.
Yeah. I mean, being the type of person you are, I can see you giving it a shot and then being open to it at least. But
Definitely.
but knowing that Neapolitan is definitely your style, um, I won't see you changing to Canotto style as a permanent favorite. I have a feeling that you're going to stick with Neapolitan through and through.
Yeah, I think I'm through and through Neapolitan, I'd say. Well, you never know though. You never know.
Yeah, be open to it.
Yeah.
Are you? You're not in. Are you in London?
No, I'm in a place called Derby, which is in the Midlands. So we're north of London by about an hour and a half. So not too far, but a good distance.
Okay. And so the craft side of pizza hasn't gone mainstream there yet.
No, we definitely. I mean, if I look at a lot of the accounts I follow from some of you guys in the States, and I see all these different pizzerias you go to and visit, and yeah, we're way behind. I mean, there is there's a few, like in my particular area. We have um, we have a thing called the Bustler Food Market, and it's basically where 3 or 4 different traders come together in one area, where you could have someone selling burgers, someone selling pizzas, and their own their own individual traders, and then they just they just rock up and start selling their food. If you want a decent pizza, you'd probably go to somewhere like that rather than a proper restaurant. So we don't really. There's one not long opened. I think it was last year where I live, called Honest Pizza, which they're starting to make a good name for themselves, and I can see them doing well, especially once COVID is a thing of the past, because obviously they're struggling at the minute, like everyone else. But I think if they can survive this, I can see them hopefully being the first of many pizzerias opening up, because companies like Uni, they're they're taking pizza making up and up and up, and you can see how popular it's getting now, particularly like the home pizza making. So, and I think the more people get involved in that, the more they will want to go out and try eating more pizzas in different places. So, I think there's definitely room over here to grow, on the pizzeria side of it. But yeah, we haven't got many to pick from at the minute.
I see. Okay. So when it comes down to it, if you want great pizza, it comes down to have you being the maker, right?
Yeah, I think so at the minute. Yeah, like I say, there's one or two places that you could go and get a good pizza now. But other than that, it's yeah. There's, I mean, it's funny, really. I mean, in the last 10 months, we've not had a pizza anywhere other than at home, and it was strange. Not long ago, we were clearing out the freezer, and I found an old frozen pizza in the back of the freezer, and I was like, God, what? How long's this been here? Like, this has been here months and months and months, and we ended up just throwing it out because obviously. But yeah, we only eat pizzas at home now, really, because it's become like a weekly tradition. Like every weekend is we'll have a pizza night, and I'm really really excited when COVID is behind us and lockdown is gone. We can start having friends and family over, because that's something we've not been able to do yet because of the pandemic. It's we only there's only 3 of us that are eating together all the time, so I can't wait to start having family and friends over and just knocking loads of pizzas out every night, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
That sounds like a great thing to look forward to. And I'm sure you're excited to show off some of your dessert pizzas because
Oh, yeah.
I know you got
Yeah.
a sweet tooth.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah.
Talk to me about that, and maybe because we're close on time, talk to me about I want to know also about the random pizza topping challenge.
Ah, yeah.
They seem to go hand in hand a bit.
Yeah, so, uh, first off, I'll say about the dessert pizzas, yeah, I mean, I've had a sweet tooth ever since I was a kid, and I love desserts, I love pizzas, so put them together and that's what you get. And I remember a couple of years ago, me and my wife went for a pizza in this restaurant that's now closed, and they had a dessert pizza on the menu, which was topped with Nutella, marshmallows, other types of sweets, and I had that, and I was like blown away by it. It was so good, and I remember when I got my uni, I was really keen to start making dessert pizzas as well. There's so much you can do with them. You could put anything on them, and it works. Like, pick your favorite dessert, and you can just make it into a pizza. I mean, but yeah, the random pizza topping challenge. There was a group. There's four of us that have got our own like group chat on Instagram, and it was one of the other guys, Alan Eats account. He suggested doing a bit of a collaboration together, like the three or four of us, where we take it in turns to pick a topping, anything at random, and then we go away and we incorporate it onto a pizza somehow, and then we post our results up, and we did it last week for the first time, and then Uni messaged us wanting to get involved in it, and it was great. It's just a really good idea. It's just something else to have fun with, and we're actually we're actually posting our second um, topping tonight. So I can tell you what that is now because this will. But yeah, we chose miso as the second topping idea. So that's going on. I'll probably do that after I've finished here. But yeah, and then it's just something fun. It's just and it also gets you to start thinking outside the box, and because I would never have tried miso on a pizza unless it wasn't suggested as part of this challenge, and it was great that Uni wanted to get involved in it and trying to get other members of the community out there giving it a go as well. It's good fun.
I love that because it encourages people to think outside the box, get creative, experiment with something new, and maybe you have an opportunity to even eliminate food waste by just thinking what's in my fridge and what can I use that's not traditionally on a topic. But the reason why I love that so much is because I was a huge fan of the TV show Chopped. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No,
Uh,
I've not seen that. No.
it's actually what got me into food and got me addicted into learning more about it. And so when I saw your pizza, it just reminded me completely of this group of chefs and cooks. And they actually have a pizza episode where they distribute a box of random items. And it's your job to create an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert with just random items.
Oh, okay.
And what you're doing with pizza just really brought me back so much joy of when I used to watch that and when I was in college. It would be like after homework, go watch Chopped with my then girlfriend, now wife. It was kind of our bonding moment and kind of what got us experimenting in food.
Oh, cool.
And so I really look forward to those posts. And now I'm even more thrilled learning that Uni is getting involved. And I would just like to know, what do you mean by that?
What? How they got involved?
What is their involvement in this?
Yeah, so they sent us all like a group message on Instagram saying they really loved the idea and what we were doing, and they just said to us, can we get involved in some capacity? And we straight away we were like, yeah, that would be brilliant. So they put a post out a few days ago um, with all three of our pizzas, our cherry pizzas, because that was the first topping we chose, the cherry ones. Um, and they just put each one on their post and described what we were doing and just encouraging other people to get involved, really.
Great.
So yeah, it was really good. And I've had quite a few messages from people saying, "Oh, we love the idea. I'm gonna make a cherry pizza this weekend because of seeing what you guys have done." And it's good. It just gets people doing something a bit different rather than just knocking out margaritas every weekend. Let's do something a bit different.
Perfect. I love that because Uni has obviously the platform to be able to share this with more people. And I just
Yeah,
love the creativity that it's sparking.
yeah.
Very, very, very cool. I love it. We're almost here on time, and I can't believe how fast time moved talking with you and learning from you. But I do want to be respectful of your time, and I know you have a lot to do with your pizza prep today. And so I want to ask you this final question before we leave off. And I want to preface it with that these interviews are a lot about pizza and business, and I very much see you as a business person or having a pizza business because you run an Instagram account and you have ads, and so you're making a stream of income, and that in itself, however big or small, is a business. And so you are the right person to speak on this. And this can be of any of your experience recently or in the past. What is one mistake people can avoid in the pizza business?
It's a good question. I don't really see what I'm doing as a business. To me, it's just a hobby at the minute. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go. I've got no real elaborate plans or anything, but um, I think it's just be open to opportunities, and and don't say no to anything without really thinking about it. And because something really small could lead to something really big. And like I say, personally, I don't know where this journey is going to take me, but I do I do think it will lead to something. But what that is, like I say, I'm 10 months in. I mean, it's no time at all, really. I think you have to be patient and wait for good opportunities. But if small opportunities arise, then give it some good thought. And as small as it may seem, it could lead to something good down the line. If you do well at something small, it opens up avenues. And it was interesting because a while ago I was approached by someone who was opening a restaurant, their first ever restaurant, and they wanted me to go up there and give them some training on how to make dough and pizzas. And I was just like, what? Like, what? Why has he come to me? I just make pizzas once a week at home. And I actually replied to him saying, but I'm flattered. But I'm not a professional chef or anything. And he said, I don't care. Like, I love your pizzas. I want you to come and help me. Like, and to cut a long story short, because of the pandemic and the lockdowns, it never actually transpired. It never happened. But it did get me thinking, like, is that something that could happen in the future? Or you know what I mean? Just like little things, like I say, even though that didn't happen, it makes you start thinking of, I would never have even considered doing that. But now it just plants a seed in your head to think there's more, that there are opportunities out there. Just be open to them.
Yeah. People are so quick to say no sometime.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
it seems like if the situation was correct, you could have said yes. But uh, the important part is you thought about it and
Yeah,
considered it.
but then I think on the other side of it, don't always say yes straight away, because it can work the other way. I mean, I like to think that I give things a lot of thought before. You do the after a while, you do get quite a few people approaching you wanting to do um, promotional work for them, and it'd be really easy to say yes to everything. But I think you've got to do that. You've got to kind of like believe in what you're doing. You've got to you've got to like the product. You need to get a good feeling about the product to start with. So I think that's probably a good bit of advice as well. Just give it some good thought before you get involved in anything, because the one thing you don't want to do is put your name to something that ultimately turns out not to be a good thing, because that could be damaging down the line.
Let's just say it was good that you said yes to your wife when she said you should start an Instagram account.
Yeah, yeah, I owe it all to her and her dad for buying me the uni.
Yeah, but you owe it to yourself for not saying no right away, thinking about it, and then committing and associating your name with the brand
Mm,
that you're creating.
yeah,
So, very many congratulations to you on that, and your entire family for supporting the dream, your
yeah,
passion.
they're good. They do. They support me well. They really do.
Amazing. What do you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
Um, just a big thank you, really, for anyone who listens to this. I appreciate it, and just a big thank you to all the people that, whether it's a like, comment, a share, a direct message, everything is appreciated, and I'd hate people to think that it's not appreciated, because and like I say, even if it's a like, a double tap on a photo, it's something that I'll always appreciate, and that'll never change, and I think it's important that people realise that, because I'd like to think people know that, but I suppose this gives me the opportunity to say that firsthand, really, and and also just keep doing these podcasts, mate. I'm loving it. Every time I go for a run now, I'm tuning in to your notice. I'm hopefully going for a run tomorrow, so I'll be looking at the one you put one up. Was it yesterday?
Put one up yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
I'm putting one up today, and I'm putting one up tomorrow. It's a
Oh,
three.
cool. Yeah,
It's
that'll keep me
three.
going for a while.
There you go. Go on a longer run.
Yeah.
Scott, such a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank
sharing your
you.
story with me.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been really good fun. Really appreciate it. It's flat. I mean, I was a bit worried I might not be able to fill the hour, but it's flown by. Absolutely flown by.
I wanted to know more from you, but we may have to do a round two sometime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm all for that. Definitely.
Amazing. It's great talking to you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, mate.
Scott, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I cannot believe how much I learned from you. Like I had so many more questions, but I think we do gotta plan that round two because we want to keep the audience wanting more, right? Dude, so I swear, your story is so humbling. So major congrats to all your success so far, and I can't wait to see where your journey goes. To you, the listener. Right? Come on. Scott is such an amazing human. And so if you want to say thank you, please make sure to follow him at Scott's Pizza Project on Instagram. Check out his links, message him, comment on his page, anything. You already know he's going to be responding to you. Other than that, have a good day. Peace.